A Greek myth, the reason for seasons, Demeter and Persephone. Demeter loved her little daughter Persephone. They played together in the fields almost every day. As Persephone smiled up at her mother, Demeter's heart swelled with happiness, and the crops grew high and healthy. Flowers tumbled everywhere. As time passed, Persephone grew into a lovely goddess, and that is where the trouble started. Hades, the king of the underworld, was a gloomy fellow. He normally just hung out in the underworld. But one day, Hades felt restless. He decided to take his three-headed dog, Cerberus, for a chariot ride. Cerberus, his dog, usually stood guard to the gate of the underworld. But Hades gave his dog a break every now and again, and he scooped up Cerberus and left a couple of spirits in charge instead. Hades flew his chariot up to earth. Cerberus leaped out of the chariot and ran around, sniffing flowers with all of the three of his heads. The dog ran up to a lovely young woman, the goddess Persephone. Some people might have been startled if a three-headed dog came tearing up to them, but Persephone only laughed and scratched his ears. Hades loved his old dog. He watched his dog play happily with Persephone, and he heard Persephone's delighted laughter. Hades fell deeply in love. Before anyone could stop him, he grabbed Persephone, his dog, and jumped into his chariot and drove down deep into the darkest depths of the underworld. Hades locked Persephone in a beautifully decorated room in the halls of Hades. He brought her all kinds of delicious food, but Persephone refused to eat. She had heard that if you ate anything in Hades, you could never leave. She had every intention of leaving as soon as she could figure out how to do so. Over a week went by. Finally, in desperate hunger, Persephone ate 6 pomegranate seeds. She promptly burst into tears. She was not the only one crying. Demeter, her mother, missed her daughter terribly. She did not care if all the crops died. She did not care for anything except for finding her daughter. No one knows who told Zeus, the king of the gods, about it, but it was clear that this could not go on. So Zeus sent his son, Hermes, to work a deal with Hades. This was the deal that Hermes worked out. If Persephone would marry Hades, she would live as queen of the underworld for 6 months each winter. In the spring, Persephone would return to the earth and live there for 6 months. No one especially liked the deal, but everybody finally agreed. So every spring, Demeter makes sure flowers are blooming and crops are growing and the fields are green with welcome. Every fall, when Persephone returns to the underworld, Demeter ignores the crops, she ignores the flowers, and she lets them die. Each spring, Demeter brings everything back to life again, ready to welcome her daughter's return. To the ancient Greeks, this was the reason for the seasons, for winter, spring, summer, and fall.